Hi, this is part of the series that I've been doing with an action plan about how to heal from it, called Narcissistic Relationships, Repetition, Compulsion. This is part 4, the Emotionally Unavailable Mate. How many of us have thought when we first met somebody, convinced ourselves, rationalized, wanting to believe that the person we've met, the person who we are enamored of and who seems to be totally bonkers about us, is going to be emotionally, physically, spiritually, and in every other way available to us in the ways that we can be to them, and which create, or co-create I should say, a healthy, beautiful, mated relationship. Only to discover that the person, as time goes along, and sometimes it's not even that long, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, is really not very well able to be emotionally tuned in. Not able to empathize very well, partly because they may be fairly far along on the spectrum of behaviors that involve narcissism. They may be energy vampires where they don't have a whole lot of inner life going on, and so constantly are looking out for what I call the battery charger supply from another person. And if you're their partner or their prospective partner, you're the main one they're looking for this constant sense of uplift, adulation, validation of their worthiness, because ultimately inside they don't know that they are worthy, they don't really believe that they are. And that old belief system, that old BS I referred to so much on the other videos, creates a situation where they often behave in such dastardly manners that the very thing they're most afraid of, which is that you'll leave them or betray them, occurs. In that case, of course, as I dealt with in another video recently, you have the self-fulfilling prophecy which dooms the love story that may have started on both sides to happen with so much optimism, so much hope. So the emotionally unavailable mate. How does this happen? What causes it? And most importantly, what can you do to change it so that either you yourself are not emotionally unavailable, and or that you haven't attracted or you won't in the future attract a situation where the person who you most feel you love in this world, the person who you really would like to be able to have an authentic, deeply spiritually fulfilling and mutually emotionally supportive relationship, in many cases just simply can't meet you on that level at all or very much. Well, part of what causes the emotionally unavailable mate, usually, as always, we harken back to what were the first experiences that you had in this lifetime. What are your earliest memories? When you cried, were there people to pick you up and comfort you, nurture you, change your diaper, feed you, soothe you, sing to you? Or were you neglected? Were you left for hours at a time in a wet diaper, hungry, screaming at the top of your lungs, which really was the only thing you could do at the time, to say, hey, I'm here, pay attention, world. I need help. I'm your baby. Take care of me. Those messages that we give when we have families, primary caregivers, who will pick us up, who will hold us and cherish us and create a space of safety, of nurturing, of emotionally being available to us, making eye contact, sacred touch, clean clothes, clean diapers, having a beautiful bath, maybe being rubbed down with some wonderful non-toxic baby oil. All of these things create a message. Either you're safe or you feel unsafe. Either you have emotionally available caregivers who you form what's known as a safe and secure attachment bond with, which then allow you to carry forward in your life and in the wiring, literally, of your brain, the message that it's safe to be on Earth, that the universe is basically a neutral to friendly place, and that it's okay and safe to love and be loved. And implied in that, can you see, where there's also a message as to whether or not you have the right to have a partner later on in your life, and this can also involve friends and teachers and clergy people and other family members who will honor you by listening to you carefully and deeply, who will be able to be emotionally there for you, as you, hopefully, are emotionally there for them. Let me give you an example of this. Years ago, I knew some people who really were very, very lovely to talk to, sweet to have dinner with, great at a picnic. And yet, if the subject became anything deeper than the weather or what we were eating or a recent movie, they were, in quotes, out to lunch. They couldn't handle it. They didn't want to know about it. The subject would be changed to something like a recipe or what was going to be on the History Channel or a trip they were going to take. Anything to do with emotions, you knew. If you were going to be in their company, do not bother to bring it up because it isn't going to be well received. Not only is it not going to be well received, you'll be stonewalled. They'll disappear on you. They'll have to go out to the kitchen to get more ice, or they'll have to go down to the store to pick up more hamburgers or fruit juice or fruit or whatever the excuse was. But they couldn't handle anything emotional. And I had a conversation with my friend, who is how I got involved in knowing that family. And she said to me, my father, like my husband, who she had just recently had to divorce, because she was so incredibly lonely in the relationship, because she could never bring anything to him if it wasn't exactly what he wanted to hear, which was, like her father and her mother, the weather, what was on TV, what movie we're going to go to, what concert we're going to see next, what's the best price of toilet paper in the supermarkets in town. Literally, that kind of level of superficiality was what was passing for communication in that family. And she said to me, that's how it was when I was growing up. Nobody wanted to hear anything that was at all difficult, that might be at all needing or requiring them to show some compassion, to be able to hear beyond just the words and really get the deeper meaning in the message. And my friend was anything but that. When you had something to talk about with her that was serious, something that might be sad, perhaps a loss you've had or a concern that was going on in your life, she would listen. And she'd listen carefully, and she would be able to reflect back to you what she had heard. And you really felt supported. And when I would do that for her, she always was able to receive the caring and the compassion and love that I was giving her. And very often we had similar senses of humor, and we would make a joke of something, and that would break the tension, and we'd go on and have a wonderful rest of the day together. So she managed to overcome this in her own life and not fall prey to that kind of level of superficiality, because she studied communication techniques. She learned something called NVC, which is Nonviolent Communication, which I recommend to everybody. It is a wonderful system where you learn how to meet your own needs first and describe your needs, ask for what you want, what you need, and reflect back to the people you're with what has been said, what you have heard, and you clarify with them if in fact this is what their intention was. It's very loving, it's very soothing, it's very reassuring, because the intent behind it is absolutely life-affirming. And as I said before, I totally recommend it for everyone I know, and I've studied it myself. And it's one of those things, it's such a very subtle art that I feel like is one of those pursuits, nonviolent communication, that we could continue for the rest of our lives to learn, and we'd never really get it completely right. It's subtle, it's beautiful, it's elegant, and if everybody in every school on this earth would teach it from day one, I believe that and meditation could help us eradicate war and disharmony and terrorism on this planet better than almost anything else. Because it's all about love, and it recognizes the importance of communication from the heart. Not just from the head, but the heart. And when you bring them together, you have a whole new life for everybody involved. So, golden nugget number 1 for today, about how to deal with repetition compulsion, the emotionally unavailable mate. Golden nugget number 1 for today is all about understanding that it is not your fault. Do not blame yourself for attracting someone who has these traits. You're dealing with something that's gone back, no doubt, from your earliest days, a family member who didn't know how to communicate or listen at that level of intimacy that we all would want. Next golden nugget, parents and family can only give us what they have. So it becomes, as we get older, a responsibility of ourselves to, as my friend did in that case, learn how to listen, learn how to communicate more effectively to make up for what your family perhaps didn't have to share with you in the first place. Next golden nugget, ask for help. Learn something like nonviolent communication, NVC. Learn other communication techniques that will help you to listen and hear between the lines. You can do this. Think, next golden nugget, think before you speak. What is it that you're trying to communicate? How can you do it in a loving way involving I messages where you let the other person know what it is that's really going on with you authentically, and let them know what it is that you'd like them to do. In fact, if you feel, I just really need you to listen to me, I need to vent for a moment, how about we take 5 minutes and sit down together, have a cup of tea perhaps, and I'm going to ask you to just truly hear me and then reflect back to me what it was you felt you heard me say. And I will be happy to do that for you as well. A lot of people, a lot of successful, happy couples will literally set aside times every single day, maybe it's only 5 minutes or 10 minutes, where they are the absolute center of attention for one another, and they sit down and they speak and they listen, and they're not doing it just from their heads. It's not just a rehashing of whatever occurred during the day, or how much it cost to fill the car up at the gas station, or how many rolls of paper toweling do they have in the pantry. No, they talk from their hearts about what's really going on. They listen and share. And this then becomes an opportunity for closeness. And closeness, point of attraction, like attracting like, creates opportunities for more closeness, more genuine emotional intimacy, and before you know it, you're both looking forward to that part of your day because you're starting to remember all the things you've ever appreciated about each other and why you got together in the first place. All right, well, I think that's enough for today. I'm Beverly Banor Brown. It has been, as always, a total joy to prepare this video for you. This is not always an easy subject because emotionally available people are often painfully unaware of what it is the needs of other people are because they're very often not tuned into themselves. If you're living with someone like this, I feel for you. If you are realizing you are this way yourself, I feel for you as well because it can feel very lonely. But there's help and there's hope. And until next time, I wish you love and joy. Bye for now.